Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Trish Kane, the founder of Healerverse. Every Friday at 10:30, we do the Healerverse infamous Roundtable, where we feature one of the Healerverse practitioners in all their glory. What's so cool about Healerverse is that there's so many different types of practitioners out there that do an array of different practices and things. And we get to learn from each other and come together and decide who we might want to work with or who we want to learn more about. And today we have Sid McNairy coming to you from Jacksonville Beach, Florida. And actually, what's super exciting about this is that somebody introduced the two of us, and I just knew he was my brother from the start. He's been super supportive coming on the Healerverse Roundtable, and also he's just so spectacular in all the things he's doing. I'm so excited to introduce you to Sid today in all of his superpowers. And he definitely has superpowers. And his beautiful wife is here, and a lot of our mutual acquaintances. And without further ado, I give you Sid.
Hello, hello. It's great to be
Hello.
here. I appreciate you having me, and it's been fun to witness just this platform and people in this healer space that care for one another and market each other, spread the word. No matter what we do, we don't do everything. I don't care who it is, and so we need a group of people to actually access the greatest version of ourselves as humanity.
Yeah, well, one of the questions that I always ask, I can start with that. Sometimes it comes later, but we'll start there. So, can you tell us a little bit about your story?
My story. Well, my story's been interesting from the start. I mean, it started off, I can go back and I say this and I see it every time I mention the start, I see myself in my mom's womb. So like that's instant visual. So that's something that I've been blessed with is the awareness to remember my life, like the whole thing. And so one of the biggest moments, I'm going to just give you a couple moments that happened in my life that kind of set the trajectory. But the first one was when I was 3 years old. I had a surgery and flatlined and went back to the light, and the light talked to me and said that it would always be here. And so that kind of gave me a foundation of where my life has been built around, because it's beyond. I've had people say you need to be a believer, and I'm like, nah, not really, because I know God. So I'm not going to just believe in God. I've been there. I've seen it. It's worked through my life in so many different ways. That's my foundation, and I live from that, and so it's easy for me to access the truth, not my truth. Like my truth can change all the time. It's like we were talking earlier. If we believe something because someone said something, all that has to do is someone has to say something different, and it can change. The truth will stand no matter what anybody says, no matter how many times you look at it from whatever angle. And so because I live from that, seeking the truth, when I hear things that people can't defend 100 and it will last all the time, it's something I usually walk away from. And so that really was my foundation, just the truth of what the Creator put in me, and why I'm here, and I can see it and taste it and live it and continue to move in that way. And then there was Vision Quest, going on Vision Quest. My life had going from coaching college football for 12 years and living as an athlete and doing all those things, and then moving into Vision Quest, and we can talk more about that in a bit, but that changed the trajectory of my life, because I gave up food and water in order to meet spirit. So 4 days, 3 nights without eating or drinking, and doing that 4 times, and all the things that came in between began to shape just how I moved in life. And then every 7 years, we all change our bodies. Our body completely changed. All the cells, 7 to 10 years, cells change. So if someone is watching this right now and they're saying, okay, I want peace in my life, and you commit to it and you walk it, you will have peace 7 to 10 years from now. Just that clear. And so after Vision Quest, I began to really look at what were those 7-year markers. And the first one that hit me was I went paralyzed in 2016. And so when that hit, I knew that, and I had a lot of people contact me and come to see me, and I had my grandmother Morningstar that guided me through Vision Quest, and so what came was, after going to many doctors, was shaman sickness and needing to experience all the pain of the world. So, one of the best things that I have is I don't have to think I'm crazy, because my wife has seen a lot of it since Vision Quest. And so at that one point, I remember saying to her, hey, look, when I die, leave me for 24 hours and I'll be back. Fortunately, she was at work when that took place. And so that was the first time. And then it happened again in the middle of the night, and all the different things that took place with that. So that was a big marker, to go paralyzed and to realize, in order for me not to be paralyzed, I had to find peace and I had to live it. And so whenever peace is lost for me, because often people will ask, how do you keep peace in the midst of all these different chaotic situations? Because I no longer have a choice. Like, I could choose to be paralyzed, and most people won't choose that. So for me, it's peace happens because when I feel it in my body, what could come on and take me out, I go back to peace. And so that's something that God has blessed me with since that moment in 2016. In 2022, I went blind for the second time in my life. The first time was when I was 15 playing soccer over in England. And then, and that's why I wore my soccer shirt, because, it's the World Cup and all that stuff. And so I got to play soccer in England and to play at Purdue and all those different things. But so the first time I went blind, it was simple. It was 3 days. And I remember sitting there, my dad was like, do I need to come to England? And I was like, no, God's got me. I'm good. And 3 days later, I played in the game with one eye, and the sweat got in my other eye, and eventually I got my full sight back, and all the different things happened. But in 2022, I lost my sight for the second time. And Liz was here for that, and that really shook me to the core, because when I was 15, when I was 3, all those moments, it was just, you're a kid, so there's no reference to anything but, okay, I've gone blind. Okay, I flatlined. It was just simple. But in 2022, at 52 years old, it was, will I get my sight back? And I got to experience what it was like to have 750 blood sugar count. For those that know, from 80 to 100 is normal. So at 750, they said I should be dead. And I don't believe in anybody ever says you should be dead. Well, if you should be, you would be. So I didn't believe in that. But I had to walk through the echo of being healed. And then when I finally got one eye corrected, and I called the doctor and said, hey, look, I can't take this patch on my eye. And I couldn't see in my right eye at all. And he said, yeah, you can take the patch off. Just make sure you put it back, because I don't want you to use your eye. It should be fine, though. And when I took the patch off, I looked to my left, and Liz was there, and I realized I had not seen the beauty of God's world. And that was on Valentine's Day, which there's so many markers of things in my life, but my second wife was born on Valentine's Day, so I lost Valentine's Day. But on that day, I got it back. And so all of these things that God has put in my life have led to, at 3 years old when I came back, and my first Vision Quest, and it continues to grow, probably my greatest gift that God has ever given me is to be able to put hands on people and watch them heal. From cancer, HIV, getting out of a wheelchair and walking completely, and snowboarding within a month, and someone who looked like they were 3 months or 5 months pregnant in 8 hours, stomach being a washboard again. So that's my greatest gift, and so much that I really don't even. I'm not sure how to do it other than to most of the time just give it away. So that's the a lot of the bulk moments. And I will say this because Liz asked once, "What's your greatest thing you've accomplished?" And I was on Zoom like this. So we had just gotten back, I think maybe 2 weeks from Sweden, and I was like, I think it's all these books, because people told me I needed to be held back in school because I couldn't read, coming from Baton Rouge to Washington, D.C., and we read a little different in Baton Rouge, to say the least. And so I said, I think that's it, writing all these books. And then I looked in the camera and I was like, actually, I just said that so that you guys would stop asking and waiting. And I said, I don't know. And she said, well, you just got back from receiving the World Peace Award. You're the only person from the U.S. and you didn't think about that? And it hit me, that I had this, one of the greatest gifts God ever gave me, I think, in my life was this generational curse of I'm not good enough. And so because of that, it's always kept me humble. That's what's led me to writing 12 books and releasing, gosh, it's been since 2000, when did we move here? 2020. 7 of them have been since then. So that space of this generational curse of not being good enough has caused me to drive, even when I've accomplished things that people would be like, okay, that's good enough for your life. And so that was one of the greatest gifts. And when I finally realized that, then it was like, okay, it's time for me to stop holding myself back. If people in Sweden and across the world know me, who am I to not know myself? And so that's where I am today. That I've had all these different experiences. It's what allows me to be a life guide for people, because I've lived so much of life. Really, I would say easily 10 lives in this lifetime, to be here now with you. And so I'm blessed to be part of Healerverse because I'm finally understanding myself.
Wow, that was really powerful. And Healerverse is most definitely a launch pad. I don't know if it was intended for that, but it is. Like all of a sudden people start getting opportunities that they didn't have before. It's like a portal. It's a portal. And like, just even looking at like who's here today with us, there's like really, really, really powerful people doing such big, beautiful things. And then you and I in the room, and you're basically the epicenter of all this. And I'm so happy that you made it through everything that you've been through. And what I find that people find is super relatable is to hear the story of how we get to where we are, because it helps people to understand that not only can they do it because you can do it, but to learn about themselves and to be able to activate their throat chakra and be able to like speak up and use their voice to give back too. And I'm so happy you made it through, Sid.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but it's been at this point, like people ask me, I've been asked often, what inspires you? And it's everybody. It's humanity. I stopped drinking in 2006, on my first vision, after my first vision quest. And I kept that going because I remember looking at my son. One had turned 21, the other one was 17. And I had a choice to make. I looked at one and I ordered him all the different beers they had as shots for him to do at 21. And then he said, well, will you drink one with me? And I almost did until I looked at my son and I realized if I drink now, he drinks later. and he's never drank, he's never smoked, he's just clean. Now, just the other day, I'm telling my son, the older one, hey man, that job that you want to go get, I'm just letting you know they're going to drug test you because they drug tested me. And he's like, I don't drink or smoke, I'm good. And I have to be that example. Like I choose to be. That's one thing I don't have to be, but I choose to be an example in the world that says, okay, this is possible. Like I do feel that it's like Ubuntu, when the African saying where we can get there together, we hold hand in hand and walk. But no matter what, wherever we're walking, one of us will get there first. I don't care how much we all say we're going to step exactly the same. At the millisecond of time, someone's foot will touch that ground first. So someone has to do that, and I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to let go of all the normal happy things of, chasing cars and all. These are all things I've done. I'm not saying anything about anybody because I've had a bunch of cars, I've had a bunch of watches, I've had a bunch of stuff. But somebody has to say, I'm going to go beyond the stuff. And that, hopefully, if for some reason God says it's not me, then it's one of you. And and the only way we get there is everyone has to start it. Like everyone has to start walking that way. And if somebody's foot hits before mine, then I'll just say thank you. Because we'll all get there and energetically when that happens. And so I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for seeing that the world has people like me that are reaching for something bigger regardless of the crap that we see in the world. That's it. And if you can't recognize the crap, and I say this a lot lately, LBC, low budget character. Low budget character looks like harming women, harming kids, destruction in the world in any way. That's low budget character. And so I'm challenging all of us, anybody that hears this, I'm challenging you to be an example of something so much bigger. That no matter where you go, walk me into any place, I promise you I'm going to bring light. Any place. I'm going to raise up the volume of it because we are all enlightened, meaning that we have the light inside, and it's up to us to turn it up at 100%. We're all enlightened, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be embodied in a body. And so now it's up to all of us to say, okay, how do I turn the light all the way up so that I can reach enlightenment? And the only way, Dr. Hawkins proved it, frequency. The highest frequency you can get to is peace. And when you get full peace, the next step is enlightenment. And so if you're in an environment, or you are the environment, that isn't bringing peace, you are turning away from enlightenment. In any way. Most people are allergic to alcohol. That's how it's easy for me to quit because it's not rocket science. I didn't have to tough it out on an energetic level from my American Indian bloodline. I'm allergic to alcohol. So when I cleaned it out, I couldn't put it back. Most people don't recognize that for themselves. Stop long enough and look inside and see just what could happen all over. That's what comes up. And we could sit here for like 5 days and I could just talk, but that's not what we're here to do. So back to you, Trish.
You can keep going. This is like a motivational talk right now.
I have a question, of course.
Yeah, sure.
So Sid, your vision quest, because I have alone had to deal with that many times over. Is it something that you, is a specific thing that you do with others? Or is it something that is within, like me, when I had to shut everybody out and recover from things without anybody. I'd never let anybody in because I never wanted to burden others, because no one can heal you really. In certain circumstances, you got to just heal. No one can do that work for you. So I'm curious, is this a thing that you teach with others, or it's something that you call it because you had to do it and call it something?
Well, first, I'm going to say that I agree with you that we must heal ourselves. You know, it says it in the Bible, and I use the Bible as a reference book because it's, even though I've got many different Bibles that I'm working through daily.
Me too.
And there's one statement in the Bible: if two or more agree in my Father's name, so it shall be. And whomever must be one. I just happen to have done so much that I can be number two in anybody's life if they believe. But if they don't, I had to get really okay with the fact that some people might have to die and go meet the maker and then come back and try again. And that's okay. I had to really get clear on that. So when it comes to Vision Quest is a American Indian custom that at 36, my grandmom said it's time for you to go sit on the mountain. So you go sit, you pray for typically a year. The first time I did it, she knew my life was turning upside down, so I had 3 months to get everything prepared that you normally do for a year. And then you go sit, you give up food and water, shelter, all the things, just so that you are letting those things go to meet Creator in whatever way you need. And so that's the custom. You do 4 in a lifetime. At this point, I mean, after going through all the Vision Quest and becoming a pipe carrier and a lodge pourer and all these different things, I now take people through it on my own, but I'm looking for a new land for that, to do that, because it just has to fit. So, you know, there's a lot of different things, the right water, the right temperament. Like, can't really do it here in Florida because people will burn up.
You're right.
You got to be in the right place. So we're looking for that, but it's something that's been done for a long time.
Are you looking out of the country?
I would potentially.
Well, only because my very best friend has a mountain in Taiwan that's sacred land. She's a third-generation acupuncturist, herbologist, shiatsu master from Taiwan, and maybe we should talk.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that. Yeah, and it's, you know, I like to stay on the move. That's why in 2019, Liz and I sold everything to escape the bombardment of heavy energy that was coming to DC when we were living there. And so, yeah, it could be appropriate to take it over there. So I'd love to.
It might be.
talk
I
more
wrote a
about
song about it. It's called The No Name Mountain.
that. Love it. Love it. I mean, I love that you're into music. I've sung on big stages. Yeah, that's awesome. So I'd love to talk to you about that too, and art and many different things. So much that I often forget what I've done until it needs to come forward. So yeah. Awesome. Thank you for that question.
Yeah, thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Diane. Michael wrote it here. I'm South African, and the word, and I'm gonna botch this, okay? Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. Yes.
Comes from here, he said. He wrote that.
So funny
yeah.
thing, I just want to, one is I've been asked to come. I actually was asked to go travel the continent to 40 countries with WizKid and singing. I backed out because I didn't want to be, even though they say he's really strong kid, I just didn't want to raise kids on a plane in music at this point in time. But I'm still working on, because I hear country music is big in South Africa, so I'm working on coming to South Africa to tour for country music. So hopefully we'll meet in person in that way. And my mom is part of the Zulu tribe in South Africa. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. Yeah, I've got a lot of unpacking inside of here
I
that
have
happened.
family from South Africa too, by marriage.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I've also got
Nice.
family from South Africa.
Yeah, I would think so.
We have to come visit you. Maybe that's where we should do it. I heard it's beautiful for Michael. And
Yeah, I've actually got
No.
some friends from over there coming to come visit me. I'm going to Gabon this weekend for a week, and then they're coming down to come visit me afterwards here in Cape Town. But it is rated the second most beautiful city in the world, Cape Town, where I'm living. Yeah.
And they surf. You know, my wife and I are surfers, so.
Okay, but the water's very cold here.
Oh, well, they got wetsuits.
Did you like coffee or anything?
And they have big sharks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love sharks.
I do too. I'm a scuba diver.
it's my spirit animal.
yeah. You don't need an ice bath here.
That
Oh,
sounds
this is a great group.
It's like 92 degrees in Florida right now, and a lot of us on the call are in Florida, in US, and an ice bath sounds nice right about now. I'm so happy. Elle Ullman is here. She's the CEO and founder of Happy Health and on the board of World Happiness Foundation. And yeah. Michael, I wanted to connect with Wayne, and you guys are both here. So that's so cool. And Jim's here from Newcom. Elle, I hope that you'll come to the event that I shared in the Healerverse group chat
I want to get
next month. Yeah. So, yeah. And Sid.
Yes.
So I know you're working on a movie right now, or you're about to start working on a movie. Do you want to tell us about it?
Sure. There's a couple
Okay.
movies. First, the first movie is called Black Country. It's off of the song that I wrote, which is about my life. And so it really, what's been awesome about taking the autobiography and turning it into the autobiography of a human is my autobiography. And taking that and turning it into a movie, what's been amazing as we've written the script is it got to a point where they're like, okay, we got to have something that makes this a humanitarian project versus a Sid show, because that's really what I wanted. and so then we went to a story that they were like, okay, what is it that you do? And they're movie people, so they didn't really know about the healing touch and things. And I was like, okay, so here's an easy way to bring the movie in if that's what you want. And after Liz and I got married and we had hit the road and all those things before the pandemic, I had gotten told if I didn't use my healing gift, they were going to take it back. And the guy that told me said, so what you need to do is just, in a couple days, go to that yoga studio that they want you to buy, see if they'll let you have it for a night, and just say you're going to do a healing thing, but don't tell anybody. Get people together in case a lot of people show up. Get people together so that you can field all the people. And so I end up like 10 minutes before no one's there. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go walk the beach. I'll come back. And if no one shows, we just go home. God didn't want me to do it. Easy enough. So I go walk the beach. I come back. 66 people are there. And so I work on all these people. All major things were happening for these people. I didn't know anybody's ailments. I just said, I'm going to work on you. I'm just going to do what I do, and we'll leave. And there were people just started posting all about it. So we go back home, and we're resting for the evening. And I reached over, and I realized something was going on for my wife, and I was like, what is this? She said, well, before, when she was 20, she had several tumors removed from her body. And I said to God, I said, look, you want me to do this? You heal my wife first. Like, you heal her, I don't do this. And she's never had anything since. And the next time I went in, more people showed up. Next time, more people showed up. And so it's that's been the journey. Like, it's something that, so the movie starts that way. It starts with the experience of a woman that many women will likely relate to. My mom, 12 years before I was born, was told she had breast cancer. And she said, thank you for letting me know. She walked out and she said, God will take care of it. My mom's still here. So that's the beginning of the movie. It starts with that to help people know that there is hope beyond the normal Western medicine of sickness. And then it goes through and it works through Vision Quest, works through singing on stages, opening for Krishna Das, Trevor Hall, all these different people. And it's really, the way it's been crafted is pretty awesome, because it starts off with when I was born. I was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There's a lot of KKK back in 1970. And the KKK had this news station that said, we're going to give a mom, whatever she does, we're going to get her a job at the school. We're going to go find the prettiest white baby in the NICU, and then we're just going to the mom and offer her a job. Well, I'm still light-skinned, and I was really light-skinned when I was born, so they came in and found the white baby, Sidney McNairy, which most people think is Irish, and because I am Scottish, French, and all these different things, and so they went. Next thing you know, my mom was teaching for the KKK. So the movie starts off, or it tells part of it with the nurse. She follows my life, and then her daughter becomes a reporter, or her granddaughter becomes a reporter, and she's going to get fired if she doesn't go find the story. And the grandmom's like, well, I have this story for you. So then we meet on the plane, and it's very theatrical. So I look forward to watching it myself. So that's the first movie. And then there's 4 movies to follow that, but those are based on a trilogy of the book Hugh that's behind me. Human Understanding, that follows the bloodline of humanity from the start of humankind till way down the road. And it's like, I looked at it like this when I was writing it. If Star Wars had said, we are writing this book, Lucas had said, I'm writing this book to get people to God, then all the people that still wear these Jedi costumes would be focused on going to God and finding the Force within them. So that's what this book has been written by, through, with the intention that from the beginning of time till beyond where we are, that the bloodline of humanity is set to conquer the Dark Lord. And so it follows it all the way through, and building the temple, building the retreats, building all those things so people know they can go get into human understanding is the intention of the book. All my books are about taking people to peace, but that's really the intention of it. And the final thing I'll say about that movie is I met a lady. My dad, many people don't know, but my dad's often on the stage when Fauci is on the stage. My dad's a world-renowned scientist. And at one point, this lady contacted me. She said, do you know this guy? And it was a picture of my dad. And I'm like, yeah, this is weird. Why are you asking me if I know this guy? You must know I know this guy because you're writing me. Like, who does that other than scammers? And so I said, yeah, I know this guy. We got the same name. That's my dad. And she says, yeah, I thought so. And I needed to let you know what you likely don't know about your dad. And I was like, all right, lady. Okay, cool. Give it to me. She said, well, one, you're my Egyptian brother. Now, she doesn't know. My dad doesn't ever put it out that we're Egyptian, but that's 95% of my bloodline, because most people don't know that even Egyptians came here first. So if you're American Indian, you might be Egyptian. So anyway, she says, so one of the people your dad mentored has studied bloodlines. And we found that there is a bloodline of the prophets. They've not told my dad this yet, so I won't be sending him this one. I'll have to find it some other way. And my dad is that prophet bloodline. So that's why I wrote with that idea. And Yeshua, Jesus, being my imaginary friend from the very beginning, has always been part of my life. I've played chess with him. Everyone used to wonder why I played chess by myself and how I could focus so much on a game that usually takes two people, because Jesus was moving the other side of the board. So that's it. I mean, I just have fun with life, and it just so happens that I'm having a lot of fun in those books. And Dee's here, who's written poems in between the chapters of the first book and things like that. And so, yeah, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here with all of you. And as soon as Trish said there was someone here from movies, I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you, God, for bringing them around. Let's see what happens, So I really do appreciate that. One of the biggest things, the guy Tom Reber that's in my life, he had this thing that I picked up, and it was, he looks for 5 minutes of meaningful conversation every day. Just someone new, 5 minutes. And when we met, that 5 minutes turned into 40 minutes, that turned into us being late for a TV show that I didn't know he was interviewing me, and he didn't know he was interviewing me. So we were late, and then we walked in, and he said, hey, before we go in there, I just want you to know, I think I have a title for you. And he didn't have a clue that I was in a 3-day seminar just to come up with, what do I tell people I do? And he said, I know what you need to tell people you do. You're the Sherpa of life. You got to be in everybody's life to guide them to the mountaintop. And so God plays, I think God's got to have a sense of humor. I think it's laughing all the time at all the things that we do, we experience, and we freak out, and God's like, I'm just getting you where you need to go. So that's what shows up in this moment. And maybe there'll be another spark, and we'll climb another part of this mountain.
Thank you. The Sherpa of life. I love that. You do need to be in everybody's life. You are so generous and kind and thoughtful and always introducing people. And I'm so happy. I think it was Wayne that introduced us. Yeah. And, have definitely been so blessed to know you and to come to your calls as well. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, we do. We have a couple different things. I mean, we have a lot of different calls. One is we have a prayer circle that happens on Wednesday nights. You got to be really approved to come into the prayer circle, because if you come in with a bunch of junk, you just disrupt the prayer circle. So the prayer circle happens on Wednesday nights, or every other Wednesday. Not this Wednesday coming up, but the next. And then we have the one that Trish is talking about, is we have a networking group called Human Circle. We meet at 8:15 to 8:45, so we're really efficient on Thursdays to come in and come out, and it's all about people coming into it to get to know one another, so that if someone has something, I mean, they don't use this word, I don't even know what they use now, but I have a huge Rolodex. I mean, I've taught yoga at the White House, I've been around the world, taught in 12 different countries and 24 states, and coached football, and I've done a lot of different things, so they're not all people in the same lane. I'm on Gaia.com. I'm on with Jim, and hopefully we'll get this meditation out soon. I didn't get a chance to ask you about that, so I'm throwing it in so we can talk about it later. But just all these different things. So I'm very open to connecting people, to really say, okay. And I think of like New Calm, you should all be, anyone that hears this should be one. We listen to it every night. First time I put it on, I slept for 9 hours straight. And then I went and meditated. And I've been meditating since I was 8 years old. So you're talking at the time, 47 years in. And I put it on, and I've been searching for how to create. At the University of Minnesota, they have this dark room where they test every product. So they'll put in like, you may have an engine. They put the engine in this room because you only hear the engine. You won't hear anything else. And so the longest someone's been able to last in this room is 58 seconds. Because you hear everything about your body. Every thought echoing. Like, I know probably most people in here meditate on some level. But you hear everything. People have only lasted 58 seconds. Now, I'm pretty sure one of my football players is the head coach at the University of Minnesota. So I'm waiting to call him and say, hey, PJ, I'm coming. Get me in that damn room. So when I get in the room, I know I can make it longer than that. So anyway, I've been searching for how to create the room without going to the room. So I'll put in earbuds that are off, like not like the plug-in ones, but airplane earbuds that aren't meant for anything but black noise. Then I'll put headsets on, and then I'll put a strap on to close that sucker off even more so that I hear nothing but what's going on in here. So I've been looking for how to make that room permanent in my house. And I just had a thought about one of the rooms we're going to have to make in our new house as we get ready to move. So anyway, let me get back to this. So I wanted to create that. And then it came to Jim and I were being interviewed at the same time, and he was talking, and I was like, maybe that guy could get closer to the room. So I'm like, hey, we need to get on a phone call. And he's like, yeah, I thought the same thing. So we get on the phone call. He tells me about New Calm, and now I put it on. And then what normally, because I meditate for 2 hours a day, and then I go read the Bible. So normally it takes me like 90 minutes, and then the last 30 minutes is me sitting in the bliss of where I want to be. But when I put on New Calm, and I'm like, man, this guy wants me to do this, and I don't like to tell people that I'm going to do something that I'm not going to do, so I'm like, all right, I'll put it on for 20 minutes. I'm only giving him 20 minutes because you can't screw up my 2-hour meditation. So I put it on, and then I hit repeat. And then I found I hit repeat for 2 hours because in 20 minutes I had gotten to the depth that I get to in 90 minutes. And that's God's honest truth. Like, so yeah, I advise it for anyone. You can get on it. It's 7 days. It's a free trial for you to try it out. And then you can thank me later. And then after you thank me, you got to call Jim and thank him because he actually made it up. But yeah, no, it's an amazing thing. So I love connecting people. And when I found my way, thank you, Wayne, for saying you need to meet Trish. When I found my way here, it was like, oh, okay, this is where I can meet more people and connect more people, and we can actually infect this world in a positive way. That's what it's about. I mean, Hillis lives around the corner from me, so we met a long time ago, and yeah, it's just great. Like, God is, if we wake up and see, God is only putting people in our sphere that are meant to be there. Some of them it's just for a second, but many of them it's way more than that. It's like I carry one of my books with me every time I go on a plane, because I know God's going to put someone next to me that at some point we're going to talk about that book in the roundabout way, and then I'm going to be like, here. And I get messages back of people saying, man, how'd you know to change my life with this book? I didn't. God put you there. God put us together for a reason. And so I just honor that. There's nothing greater than in my life putting God first in front of everything. 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 And when I do it, it's amazing what happens. It's like I was sitting in the car ready to go work out, and my son called and said, "Dad, I'm in a struggle." And I was like, okay. And now this was when I really had made this commitment of God first. So God first looks like, no, you come to me with a problem. I can't just run to your problem because God's first. I can't choose my wife over God. God's first. Like, I'm talking everything. If you're addicted to something, that's your God. Put God first, your addiction will go away. So anyway, so now my son calls with this, and I said, all right, I'm gonna listen. So I listened for like 30 minutes, and I said, hey man, I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna pray. Because I don't want to send you a check, all these different things. I don't want to do all that. So I'm just going to pray. I prayed, and before I prayed, I said, I'm putting God first. I'm going to pray, and I'm getting off the phone as soon as I'm done. Don't ask me anything. I'm just going to pray, and I'm going to let go. So I prayed for him, and then I said, all right, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. He called me back. He said, everything's taken care of. I'm good to go. And now he's gotten another job, so he's here in our house, and really God only had him come take that job just so that we could talk every night. That keeps me up later than I want to be, but I told him, you're first. You're first for me. Like, God's first, and then there's you. There is never a bother for me. Because God only put you here for a reason. There's something I need to help move through, and I really feel that God's first, and it's not the religious God. Even though Liz and I go to church, we've been going to church for the last few months every week, only because I really like this guy. He's a football coach. He has tattoos like I do. His son is the fourth, so is mine. He's the third. He's bald headed. Like, there's so much that I'm like, all right, God, you put this guy in front of me. I just gotta go hear how he delivers this stuff. Everything's amazing that he does. Liz and I went in. I had been trying to get rebaptized for the fourth time in my life for a while, and I met this guy, and then we just realized, oh, he's doing a baptism. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go do the baptism with him. It just makes sense. 14,000 people showed up for this baptism. There were 2,552 of us baptized at the same time during that day, not at the exact same time. And what was the most amazing experience of it was after he baptized me, I'm sitting there thinking, all right, cool. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you. And then he's like, Sid, come over here. And I'm like, all right, well, there's TV cameras there. So I'm like, nah, I don't want to be in front of the camera. So I'd step to the side. He said, no, over here. And so I went to the other side. I'm making sure I'm out of the camera. He's like, no, right here, next to her. It's your wife. You're going to baptize her. Changed my life. Changed my life because in that moment, it was like God put her life in my hands. And then we started reading the Bible together more, and our life is, and I have a beautiful life with my wife. And we've only had in 8 years one moment. And I call it a moment because it lasted really quick and then it was over. We've only had one moment. You can find that perfect person for you because I have her. And I remember there's just so much that I could share in this moment, but I remember at one point when I was coming out of being the football coach and living life with a whole lot of people that were coming in and out of my house, and I was sitting at the time I had the ashram, and so we had one huge studio that held like 100 people doing yoga, and then the other one that was smaller, and I was sitting in the room by myself, and she came in and she said, "What's wrong with you?" And we had started developing a really close friendship because I'd talked her into moving from the beach and coming back and running the place, and because I had to fire somebody, and so that all worked out. And so she comes in and says, "What's wrong?" And I said, you know, I've slept around with a lot of women, and she looked at me and said, "Well, you know, I think if you love somebody, then if they come home to you and they love you, it would just be okay." And I was like, it's another one of those women trying to say the right thing to be in my life, and I'm not playing this game right now. So fast forward years later, we got married, and I said, "Do you remember you said this?" She said, "Yeah." And in that moment of having that level of freedom and care for me, changed me right there in a heartbeat. Like I knew, no way do I screw this up. The trust, the love. And then for God to put her in my hands to baptize her, when she was like right on the bus on the way, like said, "I don't know if I want to do this." And I was like, that makes no sense. We're just going to give up to God. Like, why wouldn't we do this? She's like, "If you say so, okay, I'm good." And then here we are. And yeah, God's just been really good to me. Really, 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 really good. Like, I have the most amazing mom. So it's her fault that I was looking for someone to be like my mom. Like, I was chasing it. Figure out someone's not graceful enough, had to let them go. Someone's not kind enough, had to let them go. Like, anything that wasn't my mom. And my mom, I've been told she's the Virgin Mary reincarnated. So when my dad said to me, "Son, how'd you find Bobby?" Bobby is my mom. And he was talking about Liz. Yeah, God just keeps pointing to it. All the many great things that are here in God's world. And we don't need medicines. We have medicine. It's all around us. We have a body that is the greatest pharmacy. My dad talks about it all the time as a guy standing on the stages. We can't duplicate this pharmacy that's in the human body. So we just need to activate it. We just need to remember it and let it turn on and let it guide us home. Yeah. So it's all really a blessing. Like, I really do feel that way. Everything is perfect. And people say this human arrogance says that we're not perfect. That's human arrogance. We are perfect in every way. Everything that we've ever done, even the things that we're like, man, if I could only go back and change that. Nope, don't. It's perfect. It was perfectly designed so it could get you where you need to go. We are in its perfection. To say that something was wrong is to say that God makes mistakes. And the God that I know that governs the universe makes no mistakes. It breathed the word, and the word became all of us. And we're still operating on the one breath that is truly there for us. And that's a beautiful thing. Like, human arrogance says that I need to worry. That's human arrogance, as if God couldn't handle it. None of us, no one that'll ever hear this, has reached inside of a woman and made themselves into a baby. Therefore, I think it can handle everything else too. That's what I got.
You were amazing. Thank you so much, Sid. Everybody, go check out Sid on 5dhealerverse.com. We'll see you next week. Love you guys. Have a good day.